Hello everyone, so a couple of months ago, before the whole world went tits up, I decided to do a lager brew based on a Mexican Cerveza recipe. Now, I've got to give a little bit of credit to Mr. Matt Evans here, so I think his channel's called Charlton Hills Brewing now. It's his original base recipe that I used for this, so it was basically a sort of hopped up Mexican Cerveza recipe. The idea of this one is to try and get more of the lime flavour out of the hops by using some nice New Zealand hops in it, and yeah, basically make it a little bit more exciting than an actual commercial Mexican Cerveza, but still a nice crushable session kind of lager basically. So yeah, I brewed this originally before everything went mad, and as time went on, obviously there was only one real name to give this one, so this is the lockdown lager recipe and tasting grain to glass video. Let's go. So I'll just very quickly go through the recipe. There's not much to it, to be honest, so it's pretty straightforward. It's basically a 19-litre batch at 75% brewhouse efficiency, and in the grist we've got 3.3 kilos of lager malt and then 200 grams each of flaked maize and flaked rice, and that's it. The yeast that I'm using is actually a Cross My Loof Pils yeast. I think they call it Hell or Hells or something like that, and I'm pretty convinced that that's basically a repackaged SAF lager 3470 based on the statistics that they give for it in terms of temperature range and attenuation, all of that sort of stuff. So I believe it's equivalent to SAF lager, and I used Wakatu hops in it. So I think Matt's original recipe was for Mochuica. I went with Wakatu. I recently had a beer by Camden Town Brewery, which is a Mexican Cerveza, and they used Wakatu hops in it, so I decided to use those as opposed to the Mochuica. Both of them are supposed to impart a little bit of lime flavour, so they should do the job well, but the Camden Town beer had loads of nice kind of lime notes to it, so hopefully I'll get that in this beer as well. And in terms of how much of that I used, it was 30 grams of the Wakatu hops at 15 minutes in the boil and another 40 grams at 5 minutes, and that was it. So no flame out or whirlpool hops or dry hop at all. That was it. Mashed nice and low to keep it quite crisp and dry, and we had a original gravity of 1045 and final gravity should come out about 1008, which will leave us with about 4.5% ABV, only about 25 IBUs, and very light in colour because there's no kind of colour malts in there at all whatsoever. So yeah, that's it. Let's get on with a little bit of brew day footage and a tasting at the end.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente, con una pasión tan fuerte. Ay, 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 ahora sigo cantando y sigo gozando, yo sigo cantando y sigo gozando.
So there we have it in the glass. It does look the business. Not quite 100% crystal clear, but it's near enough there. I've found with this yeast that even a slightest bit of movement of the Keezer will sort of rouse the yeast a little bit that's left in the bottom of the keg. So it has gone through varying stages of clarity, from super bright to just with a very slight haze to it if I've moved the Keezer any time close to pulling a pint off of it. But yeah, it's good enough. Now, yeah, that looks great, but there's something wrong with this picture, because this is very much a summer drinking beer, and I can't really be doing this review in the dingy old shed. So let's take this one outside for a little taste test. There we go, that's better. So as you can see, the head doesn't stick around too much on this, but it does, there's enough there to have a little cap on the top. Aroma wise, smells lagery, funnily enough. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a there's a little bit of a corn sort of aroma to it, so it's not like a off kind of DMS-y type aroma. It's actually more like a, well, coincidentally, as it's a Mexican Cerveza, it actually smells a little bit like sort of tortilla chip kind of corniness to it, and just a, yeah, general kind of Pilsner malt kind of aroma there. There's not a huge amount from the hops, just a little bit of kind of that traditional noble hop aroma, if anything, maybe more so than any kind of lime or fruitiness. And then flavour wise, very crisp, nice and clean. The yeast has, yeah, fermented that out really nice and dry and clean for me, which is good. There is a little bit of zestiness from the hops there, but it's not like crazy lime flavour, not maybe as much as I was hoping for to give it that real kind of lime kick that that I was after, but there's a little touch of it there. I think it would maybe, with the Wakatu hops, need a bigger dose of them, either in at flame out or maybe a dry hop as well, just to really get that taste coming through. But it's very nice, it's very drinkable, and it's very much a beer for the summer sunshine, so it's going down well. Yeah, I'd probably tweak that recipe a little bit in terms of the hopping to really push the lime flavour through. I think maybe Mochuica would be a bit more potent flavour wise as well, but it's still very nice, and I will definitely revisit that recipe at some point. So yeah, very nice. Cheers guys, hope you're enjoying the good weather as well.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness, or duder, or you know, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.